Welcome to the J and Joe Show.
What is up, everybody? Welcome to yet another episode of the J and Joe Show. We thank you for listening. This is episode number 11, and I am one of your hosts, Jay Lewis. And joining me today is the man who got us the new intro and bumper music, Pedro Mirabal. How are you doing, good sir?
What is going on, man? How was your week?
It was a little rough, to say the least. Got held up at gunpoint. Orlando showing its ugliness this week, unfortunately. But I'm here today to do another podcast, and my favorite thing to talk about is video games. I use it for escapism, and I'll be using it this week to get through this. But I'll be all right, man. How was your week?
Much better than yours, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Also, shout out to you for, getting held up at gunpoint and then wanting to do a podcast days later like it ain't shit. Just, nonchalantly saying, yeah, my week was a little rough. I got held up at gunpoint, but I'm here now. We're talking video games, so let's talk. So shout out to you for having the mental fortitude to be able to handle a harrowing experience like that and keep going, man. But my week has been super smooth. Highlight of the week, Tuesday, when Batman Season 2, Episode 1 dropped. I'm not done with it yet because I had some things, some events to go to during the week. But let me tell you, the changes that they made to that game are so much better. The choices you make now mean something. It's just a more fleshed out game overall. And I really, really like it, man. I can't wait till you get your PlayStation Pro, start tackling your backlog, and then take a weekend or just a weekend day to play through the Batman Telltale experience so you can finally be on the bandwagon like I am.
Yeah, in 60 seconds or less, can you kind of tell me and the listeners what the big difference between the first one and the second one is?
Yeah, absolutely. So this one actually gives you a ton of different options when it comes to, you can lie now in the game where before you didn't. Now you're using more of your, Bruce Wayne swag to kind of get people to do what you want to do. Graphically, it looks great. Sound-wise, it looks amazing. The action is still QuickTime events, but it's still pretty cool. It also now gives you the option as to whether or not you want to, go brute force against an enemy or finesse them and use a finesse move. So the biggest example is, you're the Riddler just broke into a casino. You're fighting his goons, and you have the option to either use your grappling hook to tie them up or run up, knee them to the gut and then bash their head into, a blackjack table. So really depending on how you want your Batman to act is also something that I thought was super cool.
That's really awesome. It sounds dope. Does it have any jank in there? Sometimes the Telltale games are known for having jankiness to them, some frame rate dips and some hiccups. Those games like to crash. Did you experience any of that?
I am happy to report that no, there isn't any jank in these, and the reviews that have come in for the game also don't report any jank. So this is a fairly solid game.
Damn. Well, I'm glad to hear it. I definitely will be checking it out. Love Batman, huge Batman fan. So, yeah, I'm going to check it out. But, Pedro, let's start the show the way we always start the show with, what is it? I forget the name of the damn segment because we've only done it once now. Oh, yes. Part of the conversation where we talk about our favorite story of the week in the video game world. I'm going to let you kick things off. You want to talk about a little bit of Xbox. So what is your story of the week, sir?
Yeah, man. Xbox, Microsoft has been in the news lately for their new dashboard update, as well as Mike Ibarra was on the Xbox 2 podcast earlier this week, kind of going over what the engineering team's thought process was behind behind the new dashboard changes, also talking about achievements. But one of the things he spoke about was what's coming in the future in regards to the avatars that we know and love. They were introduced back in the Xbox 360 days. You could, customize them, buy shirts for them, do different little poses, things like that. And then when the Xbox One came out, they kind of went to the wayside, and you really don't see the avatars front and center like you used to. And that's about to change. Because this is going to be part of the Fall Creators Update for the Xbox One. They have a completely revamped avatar application. It's going to allow you to customize your avatar in tons of different ways. The differences in colors, and color schemes, the way that your shirt will look. The different shorts you have, your skin color will change. You can go all the way and look green, like is it Gamora from the Guardians of the Galaxy? I think that's what her name is. Or you can go translucent white, kind of like what I am right now, because I don't go in the sun. Or anywhere in between. Different hairstyles as well. They're gonna have tons of different hairstyles, tons of different ways to clothe your character as well. I'm super excited for the avatar to come back, especially after Mike said that they're looking for a different way to kind of show off what type of gamer you are in terms of your achievements and things like that. They want to make sure that, guys like the professional Xbox player that only really plays one game, that doesn't have, the hundreds of thousands, the tens of thousands, the million gamer score, how he can kind of show off that he's a pro gamer and, the amount of time that he puts into a game. And I really think that instead of having that gamer score or going off of that you can kind of show what type of gamer you are by customizing your avatar. How cool would it be for me per se to, let's say I'm playing the newest Halo, the newest Gears of War, to deck my character out in a dope custom Gears of War outfit, kind of like what we did back in the day when we gave them the Dom uniform or the Marcus uniform, but in this case it'll be kind of like something that I could use with whatever color scheme that I want to have. I think that's something super cool for the Xbox community.
Yeah, and I think it'd be really cool if, like, say that they made, like, these rewards for, like, say, if you beat the game, you could potentially be awarded, like, an outfit for your avatar. Or let's say that you beat, the game on, like, the hardest difficulty setting, like, you get an exclusive, skin for your avatar. If they start doing things like that, that would be super rad, man. Wouldn't that be cool?
So they started doing that in the beginning of the Xbox One life cycle, where you would get like little props and stuff for your avatar, but then there was no place for you to show it off. So they kind of dropped off doing that. And now that they're bringing avatars back, I think they're going to come back and do exactly what you said. Specific skins, maybe a shirt, maybe a prop, maybe an animation that your character does showing, I beat the game at the hardest difficulty. I did this, or I got this secret achievement, that only 5% of the players get. Something like that. I think would be really, really cool. And as long as they put the avatars front and center, man, I want to have that on the homepage. And, maybe instead of seeing a picture of my avatar, I can see my avatar. And it's kind of like a me where it waves at you or does some cool little stuff. And then, of course, I want to be able to see it when I go visit, like, your profile or, Mike's profile. Or TJ's profile. I want to see what they look like. It would also be super cool to see a group of avatars together as if they're in a party.
Yeah, that'd be sick, dude. And like, as somebody who's on the outside looking in, like, I haven't been in the Xbox ecosystem since the 360. Do they do any, like, outside licensing on the avatars? Like, say that I'm a, Florida Gator fan, which I am. Can you get, like hoodies for your avatar and things, like, outside of the Xbox universe? Like, can you get stuff like that?
Yep, they've got all the NFL teams, they've got all the NBA teams, MLB teams, they've got some college teams. I think I saw some Florida Gators swag. Actually, I think it's the little foam hands with the number 1 on there.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure, it was like one of those things where like your character can hold one of those, and it had a little gator to it. I mean, of course, it costs money, but there's really no way to win that in a game, unfortunately. But they are reasonably priced. So like for $1, you could buy something like that, and you can kind of rep your team. For me, I had a Broncos jersey and a Knicks jersey, and I would just switch them off during basketball season or football season.
Bro, if I could have one thing out of a new avatar, I would want to be able to make my character look like 11 from Stranger Things, bro. Be rocking like some Eggo waffles in my hand with some sneakers and tube socks, bro. That would be super dope.
Is that the bald headed girl? I've never seen it. I've never seen Stranger Things.
You've never seen Stranger Things?
Nope. That's I've been depriving myself of probably the best show on television. At least bro, that's what you've said.
I gotta revoke your nerd card, dude.
Is that something I need to be investing in? Is time into Stranger Things?
Yes, but the way you need to watch that show is like pick a weekend and just binge it all together like at once, because that's the best way to consume that show.
Yeah.
Because like every episode kind of like sets up the next one and it flows together real nice when you binge it. So man, like we need to do like a spoiler cast like right before the new season comes out. Like I'll rewatch it and I want to have you watch it, and then we can talk about it and then talk about what we potentially might want out of the second season. So yeah, eventually you need to get to that. But the update sounds dope, dude. The update to the avatars, that sounds neat. And I like what they're doing with the gamer score, man, because there are those people out there that get hooked on MOBAs or, games that require you to play for like many of hours. So they miss out on a lot of games, and I don't feel like they should take, a big hit to their gamer score. Like that almost seems like counterproductive for the whole, reward system. So shout out to Xbox for revamping the whole thing. That's sick, dude. My story of the week, bro, and unfortunately it's a little bit of doom and gloom, man, and it's this whole microtransactions making its way into Middle-earth Shadow Mordor. So this story's had the internet on fire, and people are on opposite sides of the fence, which is why I kind of wanted to talk about it, because I haven't really asked how you feel about it. Somebody who said on the last episode of this podcast that that's going to be your favorite game of 2017. You were calling it. You were already geared up for it. So how do you feel about microtransactions making it into the game?
I'm of two minds of this when it comes to microtransactions. I'm a dude that I know a lot of people are like, well, why would you put microtransactions in a single player game? I mean, other games have done it before as well. I mean, one game that I play that has a lot of microtransactions is the NBA 2K series. You can use, you can buy little coins to use as in-game currency to get your My Player skills up at a faster rate, as opposed to going through the grind and playing games and completing the tasks that they give you. I've been known to purchase 20,000-30,000 gold coins at a $5 clip to improve the jump shot, the block ability, the quickness, the speed of a player, man, and I don't have a problem doing so. Because I don't feel like going through that grind of improving my player through, through just putting time in. I kind of wanna just get to it and start playing and get to a point where my player is decent enough. Now, when it comes to the microtransactions for this game, I mean, I guess it's, it allows you to turn one of your orcs from an elite to a legendary. It kind of sucks that you have to it kind of sucks that you can't level up your orcs and make them a legendary without going through this whole like chest system.
So while you bring that up, let's just let's list what all is going to be like in this. So the loot chest will contain gear, weapons and armor of varying rarity. Equipping and upgrading these weapons and armor enhance Talion's character's abilities. Loot chests can also contain XP boosts that help level up Talion faster. Then they have war chests, which provide the orc followers of varying rarity to help forge a strong army. They can also contain training orders to level up and customize orc followers. Then there's XP boosts, which are consumables that help level up Talion faster. And then bundles, which package up loot chest, war chest, and boost together at a great value. These items are obtainable by spending in-game currency called Marion, which you get in the game by defeating certain orcs, destroying gear, destroying orc followers for gear, or finding Marion stashes in the game. So yeah, that's everything that's going to be in these microtransactions. So continue on.
The grind sounds like it's going to be hell, bro, to be honest with you.
Well, the big question is, did they make the grind even more hellacious just so they could turn people onto these microtransactions?
By they, are you speaking of Monolith, or are you saying this is WB?
I would think that it's Monolith, right? Because we have a direct quote from Monolith that says, quote, "An important aspect of the Nemesis system now comes in forging, customizing, and leading your own army of unique orc followers against the fortresses of Mordor." That was end quote. And now, quote, "There are different ways to do this, including dominating orcs by exploring the vast open world and encountering them as part of the orc society. Or players can acquire orcs and other items through the market in-game store," end quote. So Monolith is like talking about, how you can purchase them, through the store. So I guess it would be Monolith.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Monolith is always going to be the one that's going to make the developer is always going to be the one that's going to make the statement. But
maybe WB is like kind of pushing them. Yeah. Maybe they're the ones telling them, hey, like put microtransactions in the game. Let's get some extra revenue off of this. I don't know who's to blame. I would assume probably WB. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's I'm taking a wait and see approach. I'm not gonna boycott the game. I'm not gonna hoot and holler just yet. But if this turns out to be one of those things where it's like, all right, so this is gonna take me another 5 hours to just look for all of the Marion stashes, and then go and kill these high profile followers, to turn them into armor, to then destroy the armor, to get enough Marion, to then get this box so I could level up faster, or to get this box so I can get better orc followers. That's going to piss me off. Because the last game, the grind wasn't nearly as bad as what that is. So loot chests in general kind of piss me off. Because you're not, it's really based off of the algorithm and whatever role you have. But I don't know. I feel like I'll give it the benefit of the doubt and wait and see. But but I'm not very optimistic that it's not gonna deter from my enjoyment of this game.
But you were saying that the orcs could only reach legendary status if you buy the microtransaction. Is that correct? Or is this something you can do without the microtransaction?
I haven't heard of a way to do it without the microtransactions yet.
See, that's what bothers me. Like, if you're locking away content, behind a paywall, like, that's not cool at all, dude. And, like, as somebody who, I wasn't on the fence about this game anymore. I was definitely going to purchase it after seeing those videos that IGN posted up, when he was riding the dragon and just releasing fire down on that fortress. Like, all the videos I was seeing was, like, turning me on to the game, and it was looking great. And then I get this news, and I'm like, damn it, you know what I mean? Like, to have this artificial grindiness to the game that could easily be expunged by me just using my own money. Like, that's why I'm paying $60 for the game, you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to have to, purchase, additional chests so I can make the game less grindy or make my orc stronger. Like, to me, that leaves a dirty taste in my mouth, and I can't get behind a game with antics like that. And one of my favorite video game personalities, Angry Joe, he did a rant about it. You guys should check it out. It's one of his newer videos, so go check him out on YouTube, Angry Joe Show. And he kind of feels the same way I do, man. And, he's really pissed off about it. I mean, he is extra pissed off about it. I don't know if you got a chance to watch that video or not, but I think he kind of hits the nail on the head. Everything he says is kind of true. Like, microtransactions, like, don't really belong in a single player RPG. Like, it makes sense when you have games like Overwatch where you can, choose to purchase these loot boxes that give your character skins or things of that nature, but not something that's going to change the dynamic of the game. Like, that's gross, dude. And I get what you're saying. Let's take a wait and see approach, but normally things like this don't really turn out in the gamer's favor. Do you kind of agree with that statement?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with that statement.
Yeah, but I also agree with you. Let's not jump the gun and boycott the game yet. But really had me upset this week. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments if you're watching on YouTube. If you'd like to go to our Facebook group and comment there, we're the Square Gamers on Facebook. Look us up. But yeah, man, like, we'll see how this ends up turning out. I hope they figure this thing out. And like I said, the internet's on fire about it. A lot of people are pissed off. So maybe this is something that WB Games will look at. Maybe this is something Monolith will tell, WB, like, we need to do something about this because gamers are not happy. So we'll see how this story develops. And if we get new information, we'll make sure to talk about it in the next podcast. But with that being said, Pedro, it's that time of the week. It's time to talk about the topic of the week. Which this week we're going to be talking about PAX West. And when I started writing the show notes for this, I realized I didn't really know the evolution of PAX and how it started and what it was all about. So I did a little bit of research. So PAX has been going on since 2004. It's a video game conference that was pretty much put together by the people over at Penny Arcade. And in doing the research, I'm like, you know what? I don't even know what Penny Arcade is either. So I did some research there, and it's like it's like a comic book that's video game related, correct, Pedro?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, cool.
Yes. So
you said it was Penny Arcade, and then it was a comic book based on video games. Yes, that's correct.
Penny Arcade, they make a video game related comic, is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, they started the show back in 2004. The first ever conference that they held was there was only 4,500 people at the event. It was held in Bellevue, Washington, and it was focused all on the culture of gaming, and it was just like a big celebration for the community, basically. And so every year since 2004, it has doubled in size every single year to where the event reaches capacity. And so they're having to find bigger and bigger venues for it. That's basically what PAX is in a nutshell. This year it's being held in Seattle, Washington, and it starts Friday, September 1st at 10:30 a.m. And then Luke Smith will take the stage with Bungie, and basically he's going to be talking about his career starting off in video games journalism and, kind of like going on to what he's doing now, with Destiny 2 and all that stuff. So are you hyped to hear about Luke Smith and, his career?
That's going to be dope, man. Hopefully they ask him kind of how he went from writing stories about video games to directing one of the biggest games coming out of the year.
Yeah, man, definitely. Luke Smith, man, he's a seasoned, video gamer, man. He's been around for quite a while, and he's done some amazing things with the Destiny game. He's someone who really listens to the community and takes the feedback, and Destiny is a way better game today because of him listening than it was on launch. So very highly respected individual, and I think it's a great way to start off PAX. You think that's a good way to kick it off, getting some Destiny news and hearing about Luke Smith's career?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Destiny's one of the most high profile games out, so they're definitely going to be asking him questions about that. And I think he's got a pretty cool story. So, like you said, he's a seasoned vet. He's been around for a while, and a lot of people kind of want to know what path he took, and maybe want to emulate what he did, to end up in the game industry.
Yeah, absolutely. Next at 2:30 p.m., we're getting a panel that's called Go Behind the Sound of Video Games with ArenaNet. So I guess it's going to be all about sound design. So that might be a little bit of a snooze fest if you're not really somebody who likes to get into the sound details of a video game. Does that panel sound like it's going to do anything for you, Pedro?
Unfortunately not, but it might do something for people who want to develop or are into sound.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like, sound,
not into sound, but into audio.
Yeah, sound is definitely something that is a major impact on video games in this day and age. A new game that just released this week that's doing really well, actually, is that game Hellblade. And it basically follows a female protagonist, and like she deals with all these mental issues. And I heard that the sound design in that game is phenomenal. Like if you play that game, you wear headphones. I guess you hear all these different voices like in her head, and it affects the game drastically. So maybe there will be some cool things out of that panel after all. I don't mean to shit on their panel and say it's going to be a snooze fest. So let me revoke that statement. Then at 3 o'clock, we're going to be getting Square Enix is going to take the stage, and their panel is called Mobius Final Fantasy, and it's about their mobile game, and I guess it's going to be talking about the future update that's going to be coming. Is the Final Fantasy mobile game mean anything to you? I would assume not.
Probably not, but I wonder if Nate has played it.
Yeah, that's a great question. We're going to have to hit him up in the Facebook group and see if he's playing it, or see if anybody's playing it for that matter.
Yeah.
After actually that closes out the Friday, and then on Saturday at 10:30 a.m. Here's the one that's got me, brother. Gearbox is taking the stage. Good old Randy Pitchford is going to take the stage. We might get some surprise announcements from Gearbox, and hopefully we get some news on Borderlands 3. I know it's early in development. We saw some like really, really small vertical slices of like tech demos that kind of just show off like the way they're going to be using shadows in the game. Apparently, they're really thinking outside the box and like thinking of new ways to create, some environmental effects in gaming. So hopefully we get like a trailer, even if it's like a teaser trailer that just shows off kind of some of the characters we're going to be playing as. I'd love to get some more information. What's your thoughts on Gearbox?
That one also has me kind of intrigued. I'd like to see what he says regarding, Borderlands or whatever else he has up his sleeve. I mean, it may not be Borderlands intensive, but, let's see what he's got, man. Maybe he'll talk about a new Tales from the Borderland game.
Yes, absolutely. I'd love to see something like that, because those are bite-sized games that they can kind of put out to keep us in that world while we wait for the next Borderlands. Those Borderlands games, they're huge. It's a major undertaking. They take 4 or 5 years to develop, so it's going to be a while before we see the next actual Borderlands game. So I'd love to see another Telltale game from them. Then at 12:30, Jeff Cayley is going to be kicking off his panel where he's going to be giving us some information on this year's video game award show. He's the host to that show. What's your expectations for that panel, Pedro, or do you have any?
I think he might announce maybe a network partner. I mean, he's always tweaking the Game Awards. They're not perfect. And I think they did a much better job presenting it last year, but I think he's probably going to announce a couple presentation changes, maybe a host announcement there. Of course, the date is something that he needs to announce as well, and then hopefully he can leave the voting up or open up the voting, so we can vote on our favorite gamer, trending gamer, I think is what the award is called.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm curious to see who takes that this year. I know, was it last year that Greg Miller won it from over at Kinda Funny, or was that the year before?
Greg won it the first year it was up.
Okay.
And then Boogie won it last year.
Boogie, okay, oh yeah. Okay, so Boogie took it, that's right. My expectations for that panel is, like you said, I'd love to get the actual date on when the video game awards are going to happen. And I agree with you. It is definitely something that's been evolving. I remember when the video game awards first came out, dude, like it was very cringeworthy. The pacing was off. Of course, last year, Kojima could not make it to the video game awards. I guess there was something in his contract that he had with Konami stating that he was not allowed to be there, so that was definitely weird. So I'm hoping we get to see some Kojima this year, and maybe we'll find out more about Death Stranding, but other than that, I don't really have any expectations. I think it's probably almost a shoo-in that Zelda ends up getting Game of the Year. Do you think that's a safe assessment, or am I kind of jumping the gun there?
I mean, we'd have to see who's nominated. I don't think they should have nominees at least until October, maybe early November. I think is when they should get the nominees out. I would give every opportunity for the big games to come out and get well reviewed. But Zelda does hold a nostalgic place in a lot of these people's hearts. And, it may have already won.
Yeah.
And there may not be anything else that's going to beat it. So.
Yeah, I mean, Zelda's got a cult following. It's a game that's been around. It's a franchise that's been around for over 25 years. And I really feel like, it's Zelda, like, I don't see it losing. You know what I mean? Like, people are saying it's the best Zelda to date, and that's from the diehard fans. So that's a pretty bold statement. So it's almost like I can almost predict that one, unless something comes in, late that just kind of blows us away. I really feel like that'll be the one that takes it, but we shall see. Then at 2:30, bro, actually, I'm jumping the gun. At 1 p.m., Michael Christopher will host a panel on the localization of Final Fantasy's new expansion, Stormblood. So, again, neither one of us play Final Fantasy. Actually, neither one of us really play RPGs for that matter. But there's a lot of people in our group that might be hyped for that one. Then at 2:30, Ubisoft will have a panel for Far Cry 5 titled Mayhem in Montana. And this is the panel that's got me the most hyped. I hope we get to see some new details on Far Cry 5. Can't wait to see what that panel is all about. I love the title Mayhem in Montana. What's your thoughts?
I think they're gonna start some shit. Essentially, is what that is. They're probably gonna start, a nice medium scale battle, so you can kind of see what's going on. What I really want to see, man, to be honest with you, is I want to see things like, that news story that came out says you can kick somebody you can kick a person who's giving you a mission in the crotch, and they stop midway to curse you out for attacking them. I want to see that actually happen. Right now it's in writing, and that's cool. But let me see it actually happen on video, man. That'd probably be a super funny demo to see.
That's pretty cool too, how NPCs know like to react in game to what you're doing to them. Like if you walk away from the conversation, they'll be pissed off. Like that's so cool, because games like what is it, Fallout, like you'll be talking to an NPC, they'll be going through their dialogue, and a Deathclaw will come up and like essentially attack them, and they just keep talking through the dialogue, and it really blows the immersion. So I love that they're trying out things like that. Again, that's the panel that has me hyped. Far Cry 5 is probably my most anticipated game coming out. What is it, Q1 of 2018, right?
Yep.
Yeah, February-ish. So looking forward to that. Then at 3 o'clock, Xbox Live Director of Programming Major Nelson will host his panel. What's your expectations out of that? You being the big Xbox guy, what are you hoping to hear out of that panel?
Nothing cool. I think it's just going to be a regular show where they kind of talk about, the newest dashboard update, maybe some avatar stuff, maybe some changes to the achievements. I think he'll address Mike Ibarra's comments. I don't think that they'll announce anything cool there at PAX West. I mean, they should, because that is, where Microsoft is at. So I would assume that they would have a nice presence there. But I don't think any announcements will be made on the Xbox One X or Xbox ecosystem side, at least until Gamescom, which is, I believe, in a week.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I agree with you. It's probably, like you just said, them talking about all the new stuff that they've added, which is cool, man, because I want to see more of all that stuff. So I agree with you there. At 4 p.m., Tripwire will announce upcoming content for Rising Storm 2 Vietnam. You familiar with that game at all?
I'm not.
Yeah, nor am I. So sorry about that, guys, if that's a game that means a lot to you. Maybe you can enlighten us filthy casuals over in the Facebook group. 4:30 p.m. Here's the one that's got Pedro's attention. Monolith Productions is going to take the stage, and they'll be talking about Middle Earth Shadow of War. God, like some reason that's hard to spit out. So tell me about your expectations for this panel. What do you want out of this panel?
Man, they better put out that fire that they just started with this microtransactions garbage. That's what they need to do. They need to let us know that you can make an orc legendary by leveling them up or busting your ass in some other way than getting it in a loot chest. I can tell you that that's an absolute necessity because a lot of people are turning sour on this game. So as long as they put out the fire, kind of further explain what's going on, and anything along those lines, it'll be a win. If they don't, that's a problem for them and for many gamers.
Yeah, like I feel like it's a little. They're in a tough situation because they haven't given themselves a lot of time to kind of react to the way the internet's reacting about the microtransactions. So I don't know what they can really do. They're really going to have to put a PR spin on this thing. And you're right. If they say nothing, man, that's going to be shooting themselves in the foot. They need to let the gamers know why these microtransactions are in the game. They need to let us know, like, if we choose not to use them, how that's going to impact the experience. They definitely have a course correction that they need to do, and they need to say something. So I agree with you there, and hopefully they're able to course correct it and get everybody back on board, because I feel like up until that talk of microtransactions, they've been killing it, man. Like the way they're showing the game off, the way they're revealing these new videos and stuff like that. Like they're doing a great job. That was the first misstep, so they definitely need to fix that. And then on Sunday, the final day of PAX West, 12 p.m., CD Projekt Red will be celebrating the 10th anniversary for the Witcher series. So Witcher 3, man, what a beast of a game. Unfortunately, it wasn't really for me. I ended up picking the game up on a flash sale for $25, and it was the Game of the Year edition, so it had all the DLC, the Blood and Wine expansion, and all that stuff. I recognize that it's an incredibly awesome game, but it's also one of those games that is like, whoa, there's just so much to do. And I'm somebody who, I get like OCD, and I feel like I have to do everything in a video game to consume all the content and to really get the full message of the game. And so when I started playing and like all these question marks were popping up on my map and just the overall scale of that game, I had to walk away, man, because I knew that I wasn't going to be able to give it the 300 hours that it deserved, but I do recognize that it's an amazing game and it's an amazing franchise, and I think it'll be cool for them to celebrate 10 years of Witcher. What's your thoughts on that, panel?
That's going to be pretty cool, just to celebrate 10 years of one of the most consistent franchises in the last decade, for sure. I have not heard a bad word said about any one of the 3 games that have come out. They are huge time sucks, which are awesome for people who enjoy being lost in in a world as grand and vast as the one that The Witcher creates. So it'll be cool to kind of see their celebration of such a great game.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's it for the PAX West panel. What's your thoughts on everything that's been announced panel-wise? What's lacking in your opinion? Is there something that's not going to be there that you wanted to see?
No, I mean, I think alongside of these, you'll have these are just strictly the game panels, so you'll have like the IGN panel, and you'll have. I don't think Kind of Funny is going to be there, but you'll have other video game personalities having their own panels as well. I think for me to go to one of these, I don't know if I'd attend a panel, but I will like to get my hands on whatever news coming out. I know Microsoft should have a fairly large area there for them to play, for you to play like the indies and some of the AAA titles. Hopefully they'll allow you to see Forza, on the Xbox One X on a beautiful 4K screen. Those are kind of the things that I would go to a Penny Arcade event to go see, is like your IGNs and things like that, as well as just go play some video games and kind of experience what they're like before release.
Yeah. Yeah, this is definitely something that if I were attending, I'd be hanging out at that Ubisoft panel, and then probably swing over to the Monolith panel immediately afterward. A lot of these other things, they don't, they're cool, but not being a Final Fantasy fan like that. Oh, and then Gearbox. God, don't let me forget about Gearbox. So I'd be hanging out there on Saturday at 10:30, and then making my way over to Ubisoft at 2:30, and then I'd hang out at Monolith to, kind of finish it off at 4:30 p.m. But I think that the convention is going to be awesome. One thing I wanted to correct you on is I don't think Kind of Funny is going to be there, but Greg Miller will be there hosting a panel actually talking about his battle with cancer. The only convention he's ever missed was, I think it was the first ever PAX, because that's right around the time that he found out that he had cancer. So yeah, he's hosting a panel about his battle with cancer. So at least he will be there. I don't know if it's going to be all the Kind of Funny guys. So that'll be kind of cool to check out. And I hope that they have some videos up on that. I'm sure they will. So yeah, but that's it for the panel. Or I mean the conference. Anything that you want to close on before we bring this thing home, Pedro?
No. We should be good for this week.
Yeah. Everyone, we thank you for listening to the Jay and Dro Show. We thank you for tuning in. We hope that you will go over to facebook.com/thesquaregamers and be a member over there. We got a really cool community. I've definitely seen a spike in the activity this last week. A lot of people posting a lot of really cool things. One of our members there, David Stipalone, is having an issue with Destiny 2 bringing back Year 1 exotic, or not Year 1, but Destiny 1 exotics over to Destiny 2. He's definitely not too happy about it. And then we had some people chime in saying that they were happy about it because the nostalgia factor will be there for Destiny 2. So me and Pedro may be talking about that a little bit next week. But thanks for tuning in, everybody. We'll see you next week for a new episode of the Jay and Dro Show. Later.
Peace.